you someone who is using food as a solution for problems that food was never meant to solve? And I want you to think about this question very seriously because it is a subject that comes up here in my community quite often, especially with women who have found success with a certain lifestyle that they have been living, and then something in life happens and they jump off the successful lifestyle and are finding it hard to come back in. More specifically, here in this community, that is using intermittent fasting as a lifestyle approach to reversing the signs of aging, allowing us to look and feel our best. We're at a place in 2025 where I don't think we have to prove that intermittent fasting is a really good tool, especially for us women in menopause, and especially when we do it with some thought and we don't do it out of desperate means, meaning we're not doing it to drastically lose weight or we're not doing it to undo something, that we're really creating a lifestyle approach to what we're doing with intermittent fasting. It can be absolutely amazing for so many women. But then life happens, right? And we have something that happens in our life that throws us into an emotional state that we're uncomfortable with. And this is specifically what I hear a lot in our community, that, a husband lost a job or a dog got sick or a mother-in-law had to move in and now you're caring for an elderly parent. And we're not managing the stress of that in an appropriate way because we're using food and sometimes drink to numb the feelings we do not want to have to manage. And so what I want to talk about today is how intermittent fasting can be exactly the thing that you need to get you through a hard or a difficult emotional time, and you won't have to ever walk away from what you know is serving you. So the beautiful thing about intermittent fasting, the thing that I have personally found to be most helpful with managing nutrition and food and even nutritional advice we get from the internet, is that you're just creating a discipline for yourself. You're saying to yourself, I'm going to eat in this window of time during my day. And in this window of time during my day, I'm making a very conscious and informed decision to not eat. And we reap so many benefits from that not eat time frame. And this is the place where so many women are finding success, right? We're just choosing not to eat. We're not interrupting our body's ability to heal itself, balance itself out hormonally in regards to our hunger hormones, reverse insulin resistance, like you name it, we benefit from the non-eating window. And we're doing it very consciously, and we're doing it, like I said, in a very informed way. We know the benefits of it. We know the why that we're doing it, and so we're reaping those benefits. Why would we walk away from that just because something outside of our control is happening in our life? And for so many of us, especially in this generation of women, we have been conditioned to use food inappropriately. For a lot of us, it's just a conditioning. We were raised that way. Food was used as a reward. Food was used as a punishment. Food was used to kind of occupy us. Like you name it, food was used in ways that were inappropriate for us growing up. And so that's just what we know. And as kids, it didn't really do any harm to us. We were young. We had that youth on our side. But then as we start to get older and things change with our body and our hormones, we just can't use food in that way anymore. And so this is where the mindset approach has been very beneficial to so many women, and the fact that we've changed the way we think and ultimately feel about how food is presented to us in our life. And this is where intermittent fasting has become such a powerful tool, because you are making that conscious decision to just not eat anything. And I know for a lot of women, when they start intermittent fasting, they'll kind of catch themselves like, "Ooh, I put that in my mouth and I didn't even think about it." And that's where the biggest problem is. We're putting things in our mouth because we're not thinking about what we're doing, because we are emotionally checked out and mentally checked out, thinking and worrying about other things. And so we're pacifying ourselves and sort of numbing ourselves with these food instances. And then where this becomes a cycle we can't break is when the guilt and the regret starts to kick in. And so we're in this endless cycle of feeling bad about the life situation that's happening, numbing it with food, realizing we're using food inappropriately. So then we feel guilty and we have regret. And so then we eat, and we're in this cycle. And if you don't catch it or you're not aware of it, then before you know it, you can be down a path that's going to be more difficult to get yourself out of. And this is where I say, if you're using food inappropriately, then food now really has become the problem because you've created so many other problems by not using food appropriately. If you are one of these women, and I used to be one of these women, and this is where I think intermittent fasting has been so impactful for me, is really realizing how to use food appropriately, when to use food appropriately, and why it is I want to create a lifestyle for myself where I do have the opportunity to look and feel my best as I age. And that why is really important for so many of us. It keeps us checked in and it keeps us connected to what it is we say that we really want for ourselves. So, how can you end this cycle of using food as a solution to solve problems where food was not meant to solve those problems? I believe the first thing that can be helpful to so many people is just commit to a lifestyle where food is in boundaries, or you've created a discipline around food. And again, this is where I think intermittent fasting can be so powerful for so many women because you're building a structure within your day where you're choosing to eat and choosing not to eat. And as long as you stay honest with yourself and you stay committed to that decision, then you will be able to reap the benefits of those windows and what intermittent fasting can do for you. The other thing about that has been so powerful for so many women is when you're in that fasted state and you are dedicated to that decision, you are putting yourself in a situation where you are forced to deal with the problem without a fake solution or a temporary solution or inappropriate solution. You have to actually manage it. You have to think it through. You have to problem solve, and you have to be comfortable sitting in the discomfort of stress or unexpected life events. So ultimately, what you become is an amazing problem solver because you are going to practice solving problems with the right tools. One of the things I hear so frequently here in this community is, I am a stress eater. And that kind of statement and ownership of that description about you is serving you in no way. It's just reaffirming to your brain that when you're stressed, you eat. And if that's not the outcome that you want in a stressful situation, you really need to reframe how it is you identify. So one of the things I like to coach women on is reframing their I am statements. So if stress eating is not serving you and the outcome that you're getting from that is not the outcome that you want, what can you be in a stressful situation instead? Could you be a stress walker? Could you be someone who calls a friend when you're stressed out? Can you be someone who gets out of the house when you're stressed out? Can you be someone that calls a therapist when you're stressed out? Pick up a book, listen to a podcast. Like, there's so many other things that we can do in a stressful situation that will help us reframe our thought process through it and actually feel and think our way through the problem to get to a solution, as opposed to numbing our brain with food. So we know stress is not going to go away. We know life happening is not going to stop. We're always going to have to be managing things going in our life, and we want to be able to manage them well. So the first thing I suggest doing is being aware of how you show up around food, not just in stressful situations, but social situations and parties, things that you're at. And do you feel like you need to eat to appease other people and make them feel good about you being around food? Can you say no, thank you confidently when you're in a situation where you don't want to eat? Can you stick to the decision that you've made about your fasting window and your feasting window no matter what? Those are the boundaries that you've set for yourself, and you're going to keep your word to yourself. Being aware of how you show up for you is the first step. Then, like I said, if identifying as a stress eater is not working for you, redefine who you are and how it is you show up in stressful situations. I am someone who manages stress. That's all I have to say to myself. And I can get through a stressful situation without mindlessly going into the cupboard or mindlessly going into the kitchen and pouring myself a glass of wine. I can manage stress without food. And then life is not meant to be perfect, and it's not meant to be without us making mistakes. But the more aware we are of the decisions that we are making and the decisions that we are making that are no longer serving us, the better we can get at fixing those situations and creating an outcome for ourselves that we'll be happy with. So staying conscious in your everyday life is going to be very helpful for you, so you're aware of what you're doing, when you're doing it, and why you're doing it. And then if you feel like the situation of managing stress and inappropriately using things like food or drink is something that is just too difficult for you to overcome on your own, I always recommend seeking help, whether it's a coach or a therapist or a really good friend that you can talk to that will listen and hopefully offer you some good advice. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. You would be surprised how many people are going through the same thing that you are going through and would love to have a friend help them through it, just like you would love to have someone help you through it as well. We don't have to white knuckle this and we don't have to go through it alone. And then lastly, we don't want to become food phobic. Food, remember, is not the problem until we've created the problem with food. We need food. We need food to survive. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is showing up as the best version of ourselves when food is present, and then making sure that when we're feeling stressed or emotionally upset or something in our life is not going the way we had hoped it would go, that we are not using food to solve a problem that food was not meant to solve. Because you, my friend, do deserve to look and feel your best no matter what is going on in your life. And that starts with you making decisions about what it is you say you really want for yourself. We've all been through seasons of our life where we have used things inappropriately to solve problems that they were not meant to solve. You are a human. If what you're doing is not working for you, you also have the opportunity to create changes for yourself that will result in an end result that you would rather have. Again, this is where intermittent fasting has proven to be such a successful tool for so many women. Simply because you are taking a window of your time and you're not going to allow anything in that window that's going to disrupt what it is you say you really want for yourself. And if you can stick to that and you can keep a promise to yourself, you will not only solve using food inappropriately, but you might also have an opportunity to do some healing in your body as well. If you're ever interested in jumping into one of our intermittent fasting courses, please make sure you get on my email list. I will put a link here for you, and there's always information in the description box below. I love that today intermittent fasting is now known for all the healing benefits it can provide for us women, especially in menopause, all the weight loss benefits that it can provide for us, the hormonal healing that we can benefit from intermittent fasting. But it's the mindset changes and the confidence that so many women get when they commit to intermittent fasting, they stick to their word, they keep the promises to themselves, and they realize how happy and healthy they can be around food and in their life. That right there is the magic that I love to see. I hope you can benefit from what I shared with you in today's video. Again, we would love to have you in class with us if you haven't been in class. If you stepped away from intermittent fasting and you want to come back in, we always have a community that's open to have you come back in and do a little refresher. So just make sure you're on my email list and we'll get you invited to the next course.